I'm Jen Burson. I'm the founder of Generation PR. We are a full-service PR, social media marketing firm, an award-winning PR firm. I have some kind of insights here about keeping up with PR trends, what is important now in 2021. And in our program, the Agency Accelerator and also the Pitch Lab, we always talk about why it's important to keep up with trends. Our industry is always changing. It's not dying. Media is not dying. It's evolving. I don't want any of this like panic situation, like, media is dying, PR is obsolete. That is absolutely false. But you have to stay up to date and in the know with trends because it'll help you. It's a game, right? And there are rules when you play a game. And if you understand the rules, then you can successfully play the game and win in that game. That's what I look at it as. It's like the rules are always changing. And if you're tapped into the rules and you can stay on top of it, you can be one of the sort of winners in this game of PR. You have to really know what's going on in the industry to be able to play within those parameters, even as they change. So I've seen so many changes in the last 16 years over, the PR kind of landscape. So we've seen the introduction of social media, influencers, shift away from print, introduction of podcasts, like a million things that have changed, right? But my goal is to always help other PR pros to be successful in growing and scaling an agency while working with your ideal clients, your dream clients. And in order to do that, you have to talk the talk. You have to be on top of what's happening. So when you talk to clients, they may all be coming with outdated notions of what is really happening. And when you can establish your expertise, your authority on those sales calls as you guide your clients, you are going to make yourself indispensable. You're going to make your firm indispensable because nobody can help them navigate the rules of the game like you can. You're showing them I'm in the know. Here are the top 2021 PR trends. The biggest one that we're seeing right now is about core values and social responsibility. This is a big shift. It's a shift in the right direction, but it's something you have to help your clients navigate. PR and comms as a whole, they're evolving with a shifting social climate. And we know PR is about connecting people with brands through storytelling. So we get to, and we have to shift the narrative to reflect what people need and want. So we're seeing consumers spend and align their dollars with companies that have corporate values that match their personal values. So there is a bigger focus on brand and company values. We can no longer hide behind anonymity with a company. If there is a big social movement, social cause, people are looking to their brands they follow to see where they stand. And that is a big shift. We're seeing it's important. You have to convey that to your clients. Clients sometimes want to hide, especially if they have a controversial perspective. It's going to cause problems, and you have to kind of let them know what they could face. Awareness, the other thing is their actions have to align with those values, and it can't be just performative activism. It can't be just they have to have an awareness of performative activism and performative allyship with different social causes versus true activism. What are they actually doing? Are they just posting memes and images? And when you get into the heart of the company, their core values and the corporate makeup and their hiring practices don't align with the, performative allyship face that they're putting out on social. Consumers are getting more savvy, and they're looking at companies that they do business with to see what their stance is on issues. And that will catapult your clients as business leaders into the spotlight. So at a minimum, they have to be aware of it, and you have to let them know that that is going to come up. So like we've had clients that we have helped steer in the right direction with representation in their, lifestyle imagery on their website, including like baby and kids brands, including fathers into the mix, including same-sex couples into the discussion, all of it. And it has to be a core value. It cannot just be performative allyship. And we know the difference. It's really important. There is an increased focus on companies' diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. They have to be proactive. They have to put their money where their mouth is. That's important. Number one, put it at the top of the list. Communications as a priority. Even more companies than ever are willing to invest in PR as a service or bring the team in internally. They're seeing the importance of a comms team or a comms pro. That's a priority for these companies. So communications becoming a huge priority for companies, sometimes even more than paid marketing ads or other strategies. And those other like paid channels have become less reliable, less able to track the impact, the ROI. So their brands are seeing the overall communications umbrella, including like social and PR, being more important, like owning the narrative, pushing out the messaging that they want, and having the features they get be editorial, authentic. Those are more persuasive and more impactful, as we all know, than paid ads. And also like TV is, paid TV. Now you have streaming services. And when you pay for a streaming service, they can cut out ads. Also, bigger focus on social media and influencer marketing. Again, when I started 16 years ago, it did not exist, but this has obviously become a bigger, all importance element. There's this kind of reliance on social media and creative use of these platforms to really connect with their target audiences. Social media is going to need to shift towards more creative, highly personalized, especially with video being more prevalent. So think of like TikTok and Reels. And on audio platforms like Clubhouse, there are still certain cases where Clubhouse is going to be important. I think we've seen kind of a shift away from like everyone and everything is on Clubhouse. This is going to be like this type of social media content with video being more prevalent and audio platforms and podcasts. We're launching a podcast. Is going to be short pieces of snackable, digestible, bite-sized content. That's doing really well right now, especially things like Instagram stories, Reels, that feel very in the moment, very kind of like limited time only. It makes you feel like you have to follow along or you'll miss it. And it feels very like accessible. And that's that shift away from perfect, curated, all branded everything to like really, truly in the moment, behind the scenes stuff, little bite-sized snackable pieces of content. Also, there's this trend that's going to stay with more people working from home or remotely. The very just landscape of advertising digestible content is my phrase with all my clients, like a broken record. Yeah, bite-sized, snackable. Yep. It's been that sort of like buzzword for a while, but it's really like here to stay. And I think the shift away from perfect curated feeds that just have this editorial feel is moving towards the other functionality of platforms like Instagram. Like Reels is where it's at, consistently posting on Reels, IGTV content. that digestible, snackable content is where it's at. So people are moving from going into office and working now from home, and this will change the landscape of advertising and social media because there's fewer commutes. Like, think about it. If you had a 45-minute commute to work, you could listen to an entire podcast, or you could listen to the audio of a longer, something. Or if you commute on a, subway, you could actually watch a piece of content that was longer. So that's going away. There will be even more focus on influencer marketing. We saw huge growth in 2020 of that type of tactic for PR, and it's going to continue to be prevalent and grow even more. Influencer marketing, you got to talk the talk. So we talk about it inside our programs, but it's like guiding your clients who know nothing, helping them find the right influencers to align to reach their target audience that's the right fit for your client's target audience. The smaller influencers are moving the needle more, like the kind of micro influencers and even nano influencers, micro, like 100,000 or less, even 50,000 is great. Their fee's going to be lower. What kind of content can you get them to share? It's no longer about a feed post. You need them to share that type of content. That's the right thing for analytics and performs best, and your client can use that content in their page. So get them to do reels, get them to do stories. So influencers on certain platforms to align with the right audience, be able to talk that talk and guide your clients through that so that you can help them navigate that new influencer landscape and how to make the most of it for their brand and to reach their target audience. So that's that. Okay, cool. Brand storytelling. PR pros should expect to focus even more on brand journalism storytelling. So people want to shop with brands that matter and tell a real story. That's become even more important and relevant in the last year plus. So brands and also PR pros need to relate to people's emotions, to their lives, and the things that they deal with on a daily basis, their struggles, their dreams, their hopes, their desires. So when you're talking to a prospective client, how honed in are they on their audience? Do they get their audience and what their challenges are, what their dreams are? Who is their target customer? What are their biggest challenges? And if they don't know, try to get that content, either through, or that awareness, either through like social media, quizzes and questions, or through a survey through their email list, or, whatever. Maybe they offer a couple gift cards to their website, or they offer Amazon gift cards to take a survey and really, or get on the phone, offer 10 customers through social media the opportunity to jump on the phone and just talk to them. It's unbelievable what you will find out when you talk to customers. And if you do that, I encourage you to take notes on the exact words that they use, because you can use those words in your own storytelling, your own copy, your own brand positioning, and social media content. And those customers, that audience is going to feel seen and heard, because you're literally like taking their words and you're showing them, like, I see you, I understand what your challenges are, and we're here to help. Okay, so keep in mind, there's this bigger focus on brand storytelling, connecting with your audience, their emotions, their lives, their struggles. And when you talk to your clients in the vetting process, see what they know. And if they don't, call it an audit and help them through that. Charge a fee for it, so that you can, maybe that's the first month of your service, is getting those details on their target audience to share on their social and create these stories that are going to resonate, to show that your client is the one that's going to solve their problems. Another trend, this is a big one, and I want you guys to listen with yourselves in mind as well. Thought leadership. As you look to become an expert authority in your niche, even more thought leadership is going to be needed. And this is really powerful in demonstrating your expertise. And it's really important for connecting with high-level prospective clients. It's like more important than ever because you can actually point to certain articles and show you're an authority, you know your stuff. People come to you because you are seen as the go-to, you are an expert. So keep that in mind for yourselves. And thought leadership will also be incredibly important for positioning brand leaders and executives. In this year, 2021 and beyond, executive thought leadership campaigns and content will be extremely important because consumers want to do business and align themselves with organizations. Again, it goes back to that value-based consumer behavior. Do your beliefs and your values align with mine? That's where I'm going to put my dollars. So when your founders, CEOs, the founders of the company are putting themselves out there, can they put themselves out as thought leadership? This is going to attract the right target customers. They're going to seek out your clients because they're the go-to authority. They're seen as a leader in their space. Plus, they can see that their vision and that their vision or values and beliefs align with their, consumers, things that are important to consumers, and they'll put their money where their mouth is. So keep that in mind. And then proactively use social media to give your clients' leaders a platform and a voice to make a real difference in people's lives. Okay, the last thing that I have on this topic and this trends is virtual desk sides and events. So these new kind of creative digital and hybrid events are going to continue to be the norm. This move from in-person events to virtual or hybrid model has brought about opportunities for communications teams. So we've seen this big shift, especially during COVID, but we think that it is here to stay, which is good. We want you to see that as an advantage. So this is kind of forcing us, PR and marketing teams, to think of new ways to attract their attention online. You have to rethink how you're going to appeal to a wider audience and continue to host engaging events online, or ones that have an online component that feels in person. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys today.